Yeah.
All right, everybody. It's time for you to. All right, everybody.
All right, what is going on?
All right, everybody. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. The Outer Realm in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. The Outer Realm is a very popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, which boasts millions of listeners each week who are well known for and have been complimented on their very laid-back, roundtable style of interviewing. Together, this dynamic duo brings you the best of the best with guests from around the world who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, esoteric, and other areas of high strangeness, and more. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Outer Realm in the category Best Female Hosted Podcast. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and do it now.
All right, everybody, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. Yes, it is that time of year again. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. UFO Undercover brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and get out and vote now. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast. In 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. For 4 years, the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast has provided advice and tips from international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest judges and winners, and industry professionals based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard to help the aspiring writer and artist no matter their age. It is dedicated to the future of storytelling and art by showing that it is never too late to start, and those who make it are those who never give up. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in any or all of the 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and go out and vote now.
Hey there. It's time for you to get out and nominate. Hey there. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. The News on the Flip Side, in the category of politics and news. News on the Flip Side is a much different news and political program which is not deemed as opinion news. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings to you just the facts from trusted sources which will allow you, the people, to make up your own minds on the various stories being reported on. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate News on the Flip Side in the category of politics and news. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and do it now.
Damn, that Joe guy look high, man. I'm telling you what, you need to go to, what he must have had a couple of drinks when they took that picture or something. I was like, And it's like the droopy eyes and stuff. I was like, damn, good looking suit now, but still the rest of it, I'm not so sure about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Montaldo Show.
I want to find out who his photographer is.
No. I don't know who took. Oh, I took that picture. Shit. Damn. I'm going to say Maliva did, but I actually did. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Montaldo Show. I know. I know y'all get confused. UFO on the cover here, but anytime I'm doing Writers of the Future's guests, I don't drag them on the UFO on the cover. I'd rather, when they're showing the show for some reason or using it for something, that it has my name on it and not the UFO Undercover brand, because it's not really what it's about. Besides that, you UFO people get nasty when I got 9 UFO guests on. Oh Lord, they want to burn you at the stake and shit, man. It gets bad. I get them, they're calling, that's not a UFO. What? That is nothing. Well, sci-fi could at least been about UFOs. I'm like, give me a second break, because the shows are advanced. I mean, they're put out in advance, and everybody can see who's coming and the topics on the thing, so everybody should know. Y'all are retards, people. Why don't y'all use the YouTube chat rooms, and then David could see y'all. If you're using my messenger, he can't see. Only I can see it. Yes. David Hankins is our guest tonight. And I met David in, this place called Los Angeles. I don't know if you've ever heard of this place called Los Angeles. It's a very weird place. It smells like marijuana, by the way. It's just a weird place. Now y'all think I'm kidding you. No. So I've been to this one location I've been to the Roosevelt and the Lowe's now. No matter where you walk on Hollywood or Sunset Strip, it smells like marijuana. Which I'm not anti-marijuana. It's just, Jesus, people, chill out. Your whole town's getting high. You don't even know you're getting all tourist high. No, well, I guess that's why there's so many food vendors out there. I didn't think about it. No, really, truly, people. I was out there walking with Tom Wood, Echo Chernick, Larry Elmore, April, and there was 2 others with us. And we were just walking around, and Dan DeSantis is with us. And we were headed over by Arthur Services, and we ended up taking some pictures over there. But I'm not kidding you, half of us were high by the time we got there. It was sad, and it bothers me because I notice there's a lot of children walking around on Hollywood Boulevard, and these poor little kids are stoned out of their gourd. Look, I'm not anti-marijuana, but I am kind of anti. Let's get our kids high. I got to be honest about that part. There's a lot of law enforcement in my family on different sides, and I was, special forces service. So it's just, let's think about things when we're doing it. But anyway, David, welcome to the show. How have you been, man? It's been a couple of weeks now. You're back to normal life, sort of. Oh, I think he froze on me. I think I'm having issues, not him. What the hell? Say something. What is going on with this computer? Well, we were just talking fine just a second ago with the bleep. Let's try this again.
And I lost him.
Not sure what happened there. Hopefully David will get back on his own. A lot of weirdness been going on lately, people. I don't know. Let me know if y'all are breaking up, if we're breaking up when you're hearing me. If we are, I'll just have to go run in the back and bend and grab the heat. It's, so you can see us. There he was, and then for some reason we got completely disconnected, which is weird. It looks good on the big screen TV, though. Yeah, that's just so people can hear us. Thank you for the pictures. That's the one on my left. We found, it's a fairly famous artist. We had no idea of what we had found when we found it. It was hidden. Linda was looking for some photos, some pictures like that. It was hidden way back. Piles of crap. It's a really big picture. It's hard to tell from me. It's actually quite big. And it was all dusty, and I picked it up. I said, "What the hell is this?" And I said, "Does this have the right colors?" And we dusted it off. And she said, "Yeah." And I ain't going to tell you, the guy was having $35. And we looked it up, and we were very, very, very happy, is all I can say. Let's see if it's going to let David back. David, you back? Can you hear me okay? I might have to go in the back, people. What is
Are you there?
Yeah, I can see you, but I don't know what kind of weirdness is going on.
You seem to have a bad connection.
Yes, it's weird. You know what? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me try. Stay where you are. Stay right there. I'll be right. I'm gonna go try something else. Hold on a second. Let me drop. Let me drop myself.
I feel like I should be telling a story or reading a book at this point. Well, since we have nothing else going on, we'll start with my story from Writers of the Future, Volume 39. My story is Death and Taxman. I, the Grim Reaper, terror of men's souls, shall forevermore despise Mondays, because that was the day I met Frank Toteman. That was the day I became Frank Toteman. I found him having a heart attack in his dingy office on the 3rd floor of the Colorado Springs Internal Revenue Service Tax Assistance Center. Hey, are you back?
Now I bet you can hear me okay. All right, how's everything? Say something.
I can see you.
I can see you and I can hear you. That's a good
Can
sign.
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you real good. There's no jerking. What's going on? For some reason, my Wi-Fi in the front is, I don't know, it's lagging bad. And it's I didn't think about
it's
my
still
laptop.
a little bit jerky.
Yeah, it's usually not like that up there. It's only, I don't know, 20 feet from the main router, so it's really weird for it to be doing that. But anyway, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. That was a very weird, strange start we had going on there. I'll let David properly introduce himself in a second. Hey, Christy, how you doing? I don't know. It was just weirdness, just weird going on.
Yeah, I'm catching about 1 word in 5.
I wonder what the hell's going on. So I was getting bad. We must have 2 bad connections. Oh man! So he's got a little bad one. We got a little bad one. You know what? Normally I would say it was weather because we get some severe storms down here, but not today.
No, weather here looking nice.
Yeah, it's hot as hell down here. Don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna lie. Now we've got up to 100 today, but that's about it. So let's see. Let's move the snowball around. Have y'all ever seen the snowball before?
Oh yeah, yep. I remember that from Hollywood.
This one I don't use. Yeah, I know. I use this one for traveling. The Yeti's up front. That's what I was using up front with my Yeti. No mark, they're made by the same company. Yeah, actually, quite a few of the mics you see out there are made from the same company. I found that out when I was shopping mics. I was kind of surprised how it's going. Christy, how's your friend from overseas doing? I know I see you've been posting online. We've got a couple of friends right now that have friends in from Europe and other places overseas. I even got a couple of friends that came in from the Ukraine. Not me personally, but some other people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're not escaping the heat by coming here. That's all I can tell you. So anyway, David, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody how you got involved in this. What the hell made you decide that you could write? Or what do you mean draw?
Well,
wrong show, guys. Okay, I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
It all started with a story. So I was telling my daughter bedtime stories in a vain attempt to try to get her to go to sleep, which always backfired. And then as she got older, she started picking on my stories, finding errors in them.
Uh-oh.
And so I had to start writing stuff down because children are ruthless in errors in their fairy tales. So I started writing stuff down. It kind of grew into about 2.5 novels that I was like, hey, look at that. I can write. And so I started querying those novels, and that went absolutely nowhere. Like I had maybe 2 agents actually respond to say no. Everyone else just ignored me. So I flipped over, went to short stories. I found Writers of the Future, wrote my first short story, submitted it to them, and it came back with an honorable mention. And I was hooked. So
that's
I
nice.
submitted. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking you had a lot of competition. I know, since I know everybody, I know what kind of competition you get. And since we came on board with them, we've added more competition for y'all from overseas, and because we broadcast a lot overseas, and I push them everywhere. But it's weird because I do get asked a lot, how much do they pay you? And I said, they don't pay me anything. And they're like, wow. Because, I have a reputation for being, how can I say this politely? If there's any children listening, close your ears. We'll just use it's 3 letters. It's actually 7 letters, but we're just going to use the first 3 letters to ASS, and I can use the rest of the word. But, that's how I got my reputation in radio originally. My first guest I ever did, I got in an argument with. And a bad argument, too. It wasn't like some little friendly argument. I got a bad argument because he was wrong and I was right. But regardless, that's how my career started out. And so I've been known for not taking any bullshit and getting to the root of things when I think there's something funny. And that's how I got involved with Writers in the Future. John contacted me and was telling me about Writers in the Future. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen this kid on TikTok that said bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. That's what I told John. I said, bullshit, John. So I was like, no, bullshit, John. Nobody does that. Because first off, I hear this word free. I'm thinking, this ain't Fredonia, man, we live in here. This is the United States. What's free? And you got to remember, I've been to a few other of these so-called writers contests. And so they said free. Then he brings up this blind judging bullshit. I'm like, what? Blind what? I'm like, no way. I said, they get blind judge, you slip them $500 and you slip these other 2 out. I said, that's what's going on here, right? But I gave this man a year's worth of shit. And I apologize to him because I really did. I gave him some hardcore shit. And so finally he invites me out there. That's why he invited me out, just to shut me up. And I get out there, which didn't really help, but he gets me out there. So he goes, all right, you can talk to anybody you want, guests, judges, winners, Galaxy Press, author services, the whole 9 yards. If you want to talk to them, carte blanche is yours. I'm like, really? And I can talk, David. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I get out there and I start asking questions, this one, that one, that one, this one, that one. And I get through about 14. Now, you got to remember, the judges know me now, but they didn't know me then. And so they're looking at me like, who is this guy? He's asking an awful lot of questions. What's going on? I got hold to the staff. I actually held on the side the first time I met her, sat her down, had coffee with her, and talked to her for a good hour because I think she knew a lot. And then I got hold of Joni my first year out, and they were running dual years that year, and I made her sit and talk to me for like 45. In case y'all don't know Joni couldn't sit still for 45 minutes of her life depended on it. It's just not who she is. Don't get me wrong, people, I love her to death. She's one of my favorite people, but sitting still is
always on the go.
Yeah. And so I get through all these people and I'm like, wow. So then I get to y'all, I get to the guests. Now this year there's 48 of them plus honorable mentions and other stuff. So there's like 50 people there. And I start, I ask them these questions, that question. Did they ask you for any money? Did you ask for this? What did they pay for? And then the one girl says, they're paying to bring my parents out. I'm like, what? I thought she was lying to me. I'm like, no, they don't. Nobody pays to bring your parents out. So I'm on the phone. I pick up the phone while I'm interviewing this woman called John. John, do y'all really pay for the guests? He's like, yeah. I mean, for the parents? He's like, yeah. I'm like, really? And that just flipped me. I was like, what the hell was this? But bottom line is, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Bottom line is, once I got through the whole spectrum of things, I realized a lot of what they were telling me was true. And the more time I've spent with these people in the last 4 years, the more time I realize that they're exactly what they tell me they are. I know they like to catch a lot of flack for different reasons, but really, people, they're what they say they are. If I was you, if I was a writer or an illustrator with any amount of talent, I would submit. I mean, it's going to help you create. It's not going to hurt it.
Yep. The great thing about Writers of the Future is the contest, like you said, it's blind judged. So if you're worried about your name being associated with the work that you're putting in, doesn't matter. Your name is stripped off. They put some numbers on it. The judges have no idea who you are, what color, gender, any of it,
do they care?
Nationality. All they have is a story. And so your story is judged purely on merit, and then they don't find out who you are until after they've chosen the winners.
And and I like that. I think that's a good idea. It's a good way of doing things. And they get a lot of submissions, people. So
thousands every quarter.
Yeah. So they have their system the way they do it, but the final judging is all blind judged. I know all the judges. I've interviewed most of the judges. I've drank with half the judges, and I can tell you they're not bullshitting. They're exactly what they say there. And these are not, people asked me just recently, what are they, just nobody old winners and nobody writers and stuff. I'm like, really? I said, I don't know, dude. That's some pretty big names in this group. I said the illustrators alone got the top 4 illustrators in the country happen to be judges for Writer of the Field. So when we start getting into writers, I said there's some pretty big names associated to some pretty big movies. And I said I wouldn't call them, wannabe writers. That's for damn sure. And then we got a couple like Wesley Dean Smith who has more books than they have in a freaking library. This guy can write. I don't know what to tell you. The man can write. He's a prolific writer. He just
he can. I don't know how he manages all the words he does, but wow.
And but fortunately, I've had the fortune to sit and talk with all these different guys, and I've learned a lot for a non-artist and the type of y'all. I mean, it's I've learned a lot. I'm not going to lie, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from the judges. I've learned a lot from the winners. I've learned a lot from the people around them. I just, well, who wrote that? Kathleen? No, I'm not a boot. I know since I got into research at 28 years old, I've been asked to write at least one book a year since then. Now, though, I actually understand a lot more than I did back then. To me, it was always a roadblock. I'd go to write and they'd just be like, it's not that there wasn't information. It would always come out like, how can I say this? Like a schematic. Not even like a documentary, more like a schematic.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You're writing an outline.
Yeah. So now I understand things from people like y'all, and I actually understand what filler is, how things should, fall out in line. And I can cheat a little bit because I have a lot of friends now. I can call up my phone and say, hey, what the hell? How do you do this again? They could be like, Joe, leave me alone. I'm like, come on, man, tell me how you do this again. But, I learn as I go. So I know you went through the whole routine. So first off, when Joni called, how was it? Well, you're like, oh, shit, this is a good call or a bad? Because don't she call first and give y'all, like, there's like 10 of y'all or something, or 9 of y'all? And then
right. So there are 8 finalists. Okay. And she calls and says, hey, you're a finalist. But then we have to go silent until she calls with the winners. So you can't even announce that you're a finalist.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And so that first call, there were, like, I was sitting there on my couch watching TV, have my laptop, only half watching TV, and doing, they have a forum that we have chat rooms and stuff as we were talking about writing the contest and all that stuff. And I just written something really snarky about, we don't know when the results are going to come out and who's getting the calls. And I hit send, and then my phone rings. And it says unknown number. I was like, oh, no. So, I answer half expecting, hi, we're calling about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's Joni. She's like, hi, this is Joni from Writers of the Future. And I'm like, oh God. Trying to be calm, breathe, and like, hello, Joni. How are you today? But yeah, it was a great call, kind of a out-of-body experience, just finding out that I was one of the finalists, and then having to be absolutely silent in all the forums and everything for about 2 weeks until she called again, and then finding out that I won was mind-blowing. It was amazing.
And well, how many times have you submitted to get in? Because I know it varies from a few times.
5.
Hey, that's nothing, man. That's
Yep.
Well, okay. I know I seen this scroll by earlier in the chat. So look, when he says 5, that don't mean 5 years. You can submit 4 times a year.
Right, once a quarter. So I submitted 5 quarters in a row. Actually, I submitted 6 quarters in a row, but my 6th one I had to pull back because I won in the 5th one. Because it takes them a couple months to do the judging.
Yeah, for everything to go through. Yeah, because they the quarters are 3. Well, the quarters, guys, are 3 months, and they run through. They're in the are they in the last quarter right now? They're either in the second to last quarter or last quarter right now. I think it's the second to last, but for next year, for book 40, yes. Well, they have to get it all done because the gala is in April. Yep. So in the April. I mean, we're only 6 months out now. I mean, well, actually, 8 months out, but there's a lot of work goes into this. I don't think y'all know how much work goes into this. Plus,
a lot of work goes into that gala.
Plus, they've got to get the judges ready to torture the winners, which is The poor winners go through hell. This year was the toughest year I have seen since I had been there. I mean, by far. Y'all were just nonstop, couldn't get a breath. I mean,
14-hour days. Every day.
It was insane. So, yeah, I think it's gonna change a little bit next year because I wasn't even one of y'all on that bitch. I was like, I love these people, but I got to get some interviews in here, yeah. Because in good faith, I hated to ask anybody to interview them after a day like that. You know, I mean, it's 11, 12 o'clock, and if I bring 4 people up to the room, it's going to be 2 a.m. for y'all. Ollie, the last person gets out of there, and y'all are up, 6, 7, 8, back class by 8. I mean, go get some breakfast. And what is that, Gene? I don't think they pay for the food or the tuxes, if I remember correctly.
Nope.
But they pay for everything else. Yes, they pay for everything else. They fly them out there. They get them taken care of. And like I said, they fly their family out there. I mean, Jesus. I'd go, I have like 80 members in my family, right? No, it's They get their table with their family. It's great. It's a great thing. And I don't know. I don't think they put more than like 2 winners or 3 winners per table. I guess it depends on how much family's there. But
yeah, it depends on the table. Like my table, I think we had 3 winners.
Yes. What do you mean? I know I have my own table. I'm very special. Yes. I'm like a special man, in the short bus. I'm not saying. No, so it's a judge's table, but I always get front row in the center, and we're just right on the edge of the stage. It's a great place to be. So It's my table now because I've been there 3 years in a row. I told them it's my damn table. I don't know if I want to share my table, but no, I got some. I mean, I got some great judges. I'm usually with the illustrated judges because they're the bad ones for some reason. The authors are much nicer. The illustrators are just bad. No, I'm just teasing people. Don't go expect anything like that. So, when did you get in? Saturdays, Sunday?
I arrived on Saturday, and then that Sunday we started the first class, and then went straight through, and then I departed the following Sunday.
It felt like all the authors came in on Saturday. I didn't see any of the. Maybe I just missed them.
Yeah, so the illustrators, they are actually a day shorter. So the authors come in on Saturday. The illustrators come in on Sunday.
Yeah, because that's what it felt like this year, and it was interesting bunch of people. I mean, I had a lot of fun with a lot of people. A little quieter crowd than the last couple of years, but everybody's intelligent. Everybody was nice. Everybody was well mannered.
We were quieter because we were in class all the time.
I know. Yes, true. What was that, Matt?
We didn't have time for BarCon.
Actually, I think David's retired, but what? We didn't talk about that. Matt just asked. He wanted to know what you used to do, what you did for a living. I'm sorry.
Sure. Not a problem. So I retired from the U.S. Army in July of last year. I did 20 years of logistics management and decided that 20 years was enough.
Yep, I agree.
And so I retired, and now I am ironically working for the Army again as a contractor, doing inspections.
Yes.
And so
they usually pay the contractors better too. That's what the sad part is.
Sure they do.
Well, I was in the Navy. I went in the Army.
It depends on the contractor. So
it depends what you're doing too. It really does.
Yeah. So my job, I do inspections of Army garrisons around the world. I was in Germany back in April. I'm scheduled to go to Japan this coming September, so that'll be cool. But my story in Writers of the Future is about auditors, and I have now become an auditor, which I had no intention of being at all, but that's what I do now. I audit logistics systems.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about his story a little bit more here in a little while too. Thank you, Christy. I enjoyed serving. I really did, and when I got out, I enjoyed being out. So I'm not one of them ones that hate. I had a lot of fun when I was in the service. Maybe too much, but no, I only stayed for the 6 years, and then to be honest with you, I was offered while I was in the service, I was offered a really good job. So I said, "Oh, I'm gonna take that job," and I got out. And then the guy calls me, job's great, but he wants me to go to either Seattle or New York. And I was like, dude, I don't want to go to either one. I said, I wish you'd have told me this, because I was offered a pretty good re-up bonus to stay in. And I said, man, I wish you'd have told me this. And I wasn't going to call my AO and say, hey, but then I knew what he was going to do. I said, you know what? No, because I went from enlisted to officer, and which was, they took really good care of me. I'm not, but I got a little taste of freedom, and I ran. Oh, y'all understand, people. There's nothing wrong with a military life. It's just a little bit more rigid than an everyday life, and it doesn't have to be super rigid, but it's a little bit more because, the military expects you to do things A, B, C, D, and when in real life you might do it D, A, C, B or some shit. It don't work like that in the service. Oh no, this is the way this works. Matter of fact, I used to cuss inspectors all the time when I was in the service. And matter of fact, before I even got in the military, I used to package in-flight food for the Army and Air Force. And we used to get these inspectors that would come through and just inspect everything. And they'd even inspect how the things were wrapped and banded. Oh, Jesus, I cussed so many sons of bitches. Okay, we had to take so many packages down and redo them. But it was done right, so that's all that mattered. What was that, Billy? What do you mean you think he was Secret Service? What are you talking about? He looks like he was Secret Service. Okay, is this like the guy who looked like he was Spock the other night? Is this where we're going with this conversation? What do you mean he looks like he's Secret Service? What are you talking? But when you come up with some relative statement, I'll read it. But for some reason, I think you're high tonight. So you get there, it's Sunday, you're like, shit. All right, is this going to be the whole week? Monday comes on. You got to understand, people, this year's schedule overlapped. So it ended and started. So if it ended at 6:30, it started at 6:30. I mean, it was a tough schedule this year. There was a lot of work involved. So before we get into one of my favorite things, do you remember the lady with the cube, with the dice and the papers?
Yeah.
I can't never remember her name.
Ricky Hoffman.
Yes. I don't know why I can't remember her name. So this lady comes up. She's got a bunch of papers and she's got a dice and some other stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing? So you roll a dice, and what was it, a 20? Was it a 20 or 18? 20?
It was a 20.
It was a 20. So you roll it, and then you pick a character. And then you roll. Anyway, you roll, keep rolling through, and all these different sheets, and then you actually have a story. And I thought it was actually kind of cool for non-writers. This is actually a cool thing.
It was really cool.
It helps writers, but I know for non-writers, it's a cool thing.
Well, even for writers, it was something, my brain was the most relaxed during that session of any of them, because I'm like, oh, I'm just creating. I can do that. That's what my brain likes to do instead of sitting in lecture.
And you know what? In real life, if you're working for a company, kind of that's the way they're going to do it anyway. They're going to come in with ideas and throw them at you and say, here's this, and this, make it work. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Johnny, authors and illustrators. See, we call them authors, but in the gaming world, they call them writers mostly. But regardless, all the gaming companies have to have writers.
Yep.
They have to have illustrators. They have to have all kind of people. They have to have text. They have to have script writers. It's a lot of work to do one video game. And these companies pay big money. The company that came to New Orleans 6 years ago, they started hiring pay at $100,000 for all fields related to gaming. That's what they started. Now you got to remember, $100,000 for LA is not that good of money. $100,000 for New Orleans is actually good money. It would be like making 3 or 4 out in LA. Well, it's the cost of living is cheaper. Well, like Los Angeles paying $6 for gas, we're paying $2.85. They're paying like $5 for eggs, we're paying $2.50. It's a big difference in prices. Homes down here, to get a 2,000 square foot home in a neighborhood I live in right now, would be somewhere around $600,000. Most of the homes here are $1 million homes, not mine, by the way, but most of the homes around here are $1 million homes. It's called Pass Christiana Isle in Henderson Point, where I live. It's a really nice area. I stole my house for a really cheap price because it was a customer of mine, so I got really lucky. But still, it's about half the price of what a house in Los Angeles would cost you, or even Atlanta for that matter. My sister lives in the suburbs, and she paid like $300 for hers, and it's like 4,000 square feet with stuff going everywhere. But she was looking to move downtown. The same square footage downtown was going to be 4 times that much. She's looking at $1.2 million. So if that's the kind of rent you're looking for, that's not the kind of money you want. But for people starting out, it's great jobs. And I was listening to him do a lecture at UNO. I'm sorry, at Tulane. And he was, looking for people. And he said, look,
She says, this is starting pay. If you're good, you can see this double or even triple in no time at all. He said, we're really looking for talented, gifted people. And there's a lot of them out there. I know I've personally met quite a few of them over at Authors and Illustrators. So I know they're out there. Don't be chicken, people. Apply. Unless you already got a good job and you don't have to worry about it. Or, what do you mean, Rocky? Oh, because you want to be famous, being a famous author. Well, I don't know. David probably will be a famous author. Tell him he wants to know about you. Where's do I have my book anywhere? I left it up front there. Damn it. Tell him about your Yeah, there you go. That's
this one?
Yeah, it's volume 39. And I think David's got a story in there somewhere. And,
so my story in here is Death and the Taxman, which is about the Grim Reaper trapped in an IRS agent's dying body who has to cheat death before he dies and faces an audit by his nemesis, Hell's Auditor, and the Office of Micromanagement. So it's very much a humor story. It's very light, fun. Had a lot of good acclaim to it. So,
well, it was the most talked about story at the awards this year. So, oh wait, the artwork that went along with it was great. It was like the Jedi ninja, sickled, the Grim Reaper, Taxman guy. It was pretty good. I enjoyed the artwork that went along with it, and I could see why it won after I read it. I was like, well, this is pretty funny. And well, people, okay, a lot of times people get carried away. Okay, sci-fi is great. I'm a big sci-fi fan. Not a big fantasy fan as I am sci-fi, but I do like some fantasy. And there's other genres in there I like too. So this kind of falls in between fantasy, comedy, and I'm not sure, maybe a little bit dark humor in there. When I say dark, people, you got to remember everything for Writers of the Future is PG-13 or less. Yes, they're kind of strict about it. They don't want no blood, gore, sex, which proves to me that you can still write an interesting book today and not have to fall back on sex, blowing shit up, and drugs. I mean, you don't have to use that. You don't even have to curse. You know, when I was growing up, it was different. There wasn't cursing, wasn't allowed. You never heard cursing on TV or anywhere like that. Now, every time I turn on cable, somebody's effing this, effing that, or blowing something up. In these books, it's not like that. It's actually quite refreshing, to be honest with you. I enjoyed it. And I've got 11 of their books read now. And the stories, and it's an anthology. There's 12 stories in there. Sometimes there's more than 12 stories in there. And it's interesting stuff. So, wait, what were you asking, David? What do you mean where he placed? I'm confused. What do you mean where he placed? Okay, David keeps asking you where you placed, but I'm not sure what he's talking about.
For second quarter of last year, I was third place.
Which is amazing because I think your story is better than anybody's in there. So that's all right. Y'all haven't read this story. You have to go read this. Okay. You know, people win. I've never picked the right winner yet in 4 years, so that's on me. Not author or illustrator, but this story, even now, is still one of the most talked about stories there. Yes, you figure out why he didn't win higher. Mm-hmm. All the stories are good. You don't get in if your story's crappy. Let's just be honest about it. Well, they do what they call the reveal, and David goes in. All the authors go in. And they have to go find the artwork that goes with their story. Yes. Sometimes there's a lot of tears. Not always, but a lot of times there's a lot of tears. So did you find yours right off? Or were you going, what the hell is this? Is this like Ninja? There's artwork right there. Oh, he's got the, I love that. He looks like I'm telling you, he looks like a happy Jedi with the Grim Reaper.
Oh, yeah.
A happy Jedi who stole the Grim Reaper sickle. Yes, he took the Grim Reaper's job, man. What are you talking about? Anyway, no, John, go read the story. That's all I can tell you. Go read the story. It's a great story. The illustration's great. It was a lot of fun. It was quite a fun story to check out, and it sounds like David might have been having some fun when he was making the story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Denise is asking, you're going to be putting out any new stories anytime soon, or you plan on, or just doing this for fun, or you going to be writing serious? Damn, girls, post a whole.
Yes, I am. Actually, I have finished a novel-length version of Death and the Taxman, and I'm going to be launching it via Kickstarter on August 8th.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. Send me one. This is, you can't see it because I'm not in my right place, but usually I am sitting, where's it at? I'm sitting over there, which you can't see right now, but there's nothing but books over there. And you'll notice like Steve Priest's book is up there from what he gave me while I was there. Non-Humans is also up there, which is from a different group. Lazarus Black's book will be up there next week. It's on its way in. And so what I do is I just put them up there. As you can see, there's quite a few Writers of the Futures book up there, plus the complete works of all the great Greek and Roman philosophers, along with their best stories. But anyway, that's not. No, I'm never giving that away. That collection, the books themselves are, I don't know, 72 years old, 75 years old, something like that. They might be older than that. But anyway, what we do is they sit behind me anytime we're doing a show. It's not just when I do my shows, because a lot of times I'm guesting on somebody else's show. So those books will be behind me, and it's funny from time to time while I'm guesting on another show for an entirely different topic, you'll hear someone ask about one of the books behind. Hey, where can I get that book at? I'm like, right here. It's right now they've got 9. They got Steve, Beginning Darkness. They got Non-Human. They've got Fear. They've got 38's up there because we had a guest on from 38 just recently. And there is something Starseed. I don't know what that one is, but I can't remember who wrote that one. And then somewhere there's a Bigfoot book over there, if anybody's into Bigfoot. All them books over there on the shelf are autographed. That's why they don't go anywhere. No, Jackie, we post them there for the winners, for people like David who have won, and they send them to us. We put them up there. They just rotate around. We usually keep them up for about a year. Yeah, they usually stay up for about a year. And they'll rotate from one side to the other side. No, Bob always stays there. You talking about Bob, the alien skull? He always stays there. Bob is like the watcher. Yes, I know you can't see him from here because he's not on there. The poster you're asking me about right here, that's a signed, numbered replica of one of Frank Foretta's Battlefield Earth posters. Yes. Yeah, that bitch ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Y'all can forget it. I get these gifts from people, and then they want me to give them away. And that's like the Writers Future had sent me one of their pads, which was great. I used it for a lot of things. And people kept saying, when are you going to give it to us? When are you going to give it to us? When are you going to give it to us? I'm like, I'm not. I use it. I said, even when I'm not reading stories, I use it as a pad, people. It's an Apple pad, big, fat, used Apple pad. I don't know. What's that, Carly? No, we're going to talk about that right now, actually. So I know y'all have heard us talk about this many, many times on this. So they got this thing called the 24-hour story. So they basically come in with an object. I mean an object. It could be any damn thing. Tim Powers and Jody Lanai come in with an object. Tim Powers, he's Pirates of the Caribbean is probably his most famous. But anyway, they come in with an object and they say, here, write us a story. They give them 24 hours. So it's like from 2 to 2. Oh, no, they don't care if they eat dinner. What the hell's going on? That's on them. You got to squeeze in dinner and snacks and whatever. You even got to squeeze in sleep if you can't get it done. I can't tell you how many authors told me that they did it, tore it up. The next morning got up and wrote the story. I was like, damn, that's risky business there, my friends. Well, there's nothing like they're going to throw you out if you don't do it, but it's a challenge. And I hate to say this, or I shouldn't hate this, but a lot of these stories get sold. I know. Things that are forced to do get sold. I missed this year, y'all not being in the lobby, because usually about half the authors go sit in the lobby and write. The lobby at Lowe's was set up really weird, so they didn't really use it the same way. The one at the Roosevelt was kind of dark romantic kind of thing. Fireplace going, candles all over the place, old style Mexican tile. It was just a different vibe. So people got in there and nestled in and got comfortable.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, we don't no, Bobby. We don't have no. Oh yes, you heard me tell that story. The home of the $50 sour whiskey. Yeah. And wait, they drew you because they give you a hunk of ice. They give you one of the round ice cubes this big. And it's 50 whiskey sour is what I got. It was $55 actually with the tip. I know. I ain't a rich person. I'm poor people. I'm like the rest of America. I've been living under Joe Biden for a while, man. No, I don't really care about who's president right now. It's just something we do it on the political shows because it's part of what's going on in current events. But one day, maybe. All you can hope, Jimmy, is one day maybe there'll be a man or a woman that can lead the country as a uniter and not as a divider. I don't know when. I may be dead and gone. Dave may be dead and gone. Our grandkids may be dead and gone. But sooner or later, there's going to be one. There's going to be somebody everybody can get behind. It's just a matter of finding them. I don't care if she's a woman. As long as you're uniting the country and taking care of our economy, I don't care who it is. Yes, I don't care. She could be an alien as far as I care. No, I'm just kidding, Bruce. So anyway, let's get back to the 24-hour story. So here you go. What did they do? What did they give you, like a rock?
They gave me a little keychain that had this handcrafted doll. I looked at it and I was like, I have no clue what this thing is. Someone told me it was a Mexican worry doll or something like that. Something that has cultural significance to some people. I was looking at it going, this is just a little doll on a keychain. You know, my mind automatically goes to horror stories or something like that. And that's not what I write. So I had no idea what to do with it. So yeah, they gave me the keychain and then said, all right, go write your story. And I wrote probably about 6,000 words, of crap. I'd start a story. I hate this character. Toss it out. I'd start another one. No, this isn't believable. Toss it out. And so I kept doing that. And then I had maybe half of a story by 10 o'clock that night, but I was wiped at that point and I just crashed. Yeah. Woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, went back at it. And I don't know, apparently 4 hours of sleep was what my brain needed because that's when the story started to click and came together. I got it submitted about 15 minutes before the deadline.
Damn. It's kind of close there, Dave.
I wasn't the closest. There was, I think it was Sam Parr. He submitted his like right on the dot. Because I finished mine. I went down to get some coffee, and he was there at the coffee shop.
Oh, shit.
Looking at my watch going, dude, you need to hit send. Just stop it, hit send.
That's right. Get rid of it. It don't matter now. Get rid of it. It's not like they're going to crucify you or anything. It was, it's fun to watch, and it's fun when they throw them down the stairs. So, Jack, the first year I was there, they were like, yeah, we're going to throw them downstairs and whatever for land, whatever, we're going to use them. So I didn't know if they actually did it. I know they did it the last 2 years, though. Yes, they threw them down the stairs, man.
Yeah, whichever one slides the farthest, that's the one they read.
Yeah, it was. Well, they got to have one they use, and they can't play favorites. Well, they use one of the stories to go through to show people different things. Yeah, do you want your story to be overseen by Jody Lanai and 10 Powers? Ooh, is that something you really want? Especially on 3 hours sleep. Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
Actually, they're nice people. No, they're not like that. No, they're not like that. They'll pick on you, but they're not like that. Let me ask you this one I'm thinking about. So, what did you think about the fact that the judges don't always agree?
I thought it was fantastic.
I did too, actually.
Because in the writing industry, we're bombarded with rules and the ways of doing things. You have to do it this way if you want to succeed. But then someone else comes out with the exact opposite and says, you have to do it this way in order to succeed. And we come to realize that there is no right way. There are many ways of doing it. And as long as it works for you, then do it. And so having them disagree, I want to say violently disagree, but like Jody would just kind of cock back, look at Tim and be like, what? No, we don't do that. And Tim's like, oh yeah, we do. And so, yeah, whatever it was, having those disagreements really helped give a well-rounded perspective on how we get into publishing, how we do publishing, how we write stories. Like Jody and Tim, they were talking about traditional publishing for the first, for most of the classes. And then Dean Wesley Smith came in and basically said, traditional's dead. Everything needs to be indie. This is the way to do it. Here's how we do indie. And it was that complete opposite, looking at, the other side, that gave a good, even perspective on the different ways of getting into this industry.
Well, Jack, I'll get David to explain what the difference is between traditional and indie. But,
sure.
And but go ahead and do that, and then we'll go from where we were.
So traditional publishing is where you have a manuscript. You have to send it to an agent. Agent filters through, finds, okay, these are the 5 manuscripts that I want to represent. Then they take those and send them to editors, and the editors filter through all of the agents and then say, okay, these are the 5 manuscripts that I want to look at. And you keep getting this narrower until you get the few that get published by the big publishers like Baen, Penguin, Random House, stuff like that. And that's the way it's worked for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Or so. And so indie publishing is also called self-publishing. There are a few kind of in-between ways of doing it. There are small presses that you can go to that they only publish a few books a year, but you get more of a personal experience with them. You may not get as broad of a reach as with Baen, but it's just a different way of getting your book published. But then indie or self-publishing is where you go to Amazon and you upload your file, hit publish, and you have a book out in the world. Or, there are other ways of doing it, but that's the most well-known. Mark Leslie Lefebvre had a book called Wide for the Win that talks about all the different ways that you can self-publish your book to get to all the readers around the world that you want to reach. And so one of the ways to do that, that's kind of a new thing for publishing, is doing it via Kickstarter, which is what I'm actually going to be doing with my novel in August. I'm going to do a Kickstarter to fund it so I can publish it next spring.
Now, Kickstarter, I was introduced to Kickstarter, I think it was 2 years ago. Or whenever, I can't think of his name now. The guy who made $43 million with his manuscript.
Brandon Sanderson.
Jesus, I was in. That's when I was introduced to this, and I was like, "Wait, what? What's a kick?" Wait, I was like, "Stop, people! Explain to me how somebody went online, did this, and made $43 million."
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I didn't know who the guy was, but I'm not like y'all. I'm not up on a lot of stuff, and I'm like, so first they'd explain to me who the guy was, why anybody want to pay that kind of money for anything that he was doing. And so we went through all of that, and still at the end of it, I still didn't see how he made 43. So Kickstarter is interesting. You have to put a set amount. If you don't make the amount, you don't get the money that you made.
Yep, all or nothing.
So it's all or nothing. So if you put up 10,000 and you get 9,000, nope, you don't get it. It's just the way the system's set up. It's actually a cool system the way they do it. Oh, you mean if you go over, yeah, you get the overages, but you don't get the overages. That's how it works. So I would say pick a reasonable amount, so that if you're new, $1,000, $500. I don't know what the limits are, so you have to go look. No, I think it's a great system. I have now heard several authors, a few illustrators have used it and are making money off of it. So, well, for you, Eugene, you like to write books, and you're like Nick Polk. You write a book a week and shit. So I don't know how you do that, but so I got some friends out there that write for living, writing like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. 9. I have no idea how they do it. They just write a book, and they write about I think Nick and them do a book every 2 weeks, and I'm like, God, how many books are you going to write? Well, I'm going to keep writing until I get the one that makes me a millionaire. I'm like, okay. I'm a little confused by that, but hey, if it works, it works. But So that's really good for Kickstarter guys because you can, and it's not just for authors and illustrators. You can use it for a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they're the ones that kind of have made it famous, and it's a great. Well, if I had something to put on it, I'd put on it. What do you mean? Put what on it? Oh no, I'm not putting. Oh, so you want me to put all my autograph collection up? That's never gonna happen.
Well, see, Kickstarter is not like eBay.
Yes.
Kickstarter is you have something that you are creating that you're trying to bring to life, whether it's a book or a game or something like that, that people then say, oh, I can support that. And because I supported it, they'll get extra goodies, early release copy of the book or the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's how it works. What do you mean for I don't know if you could do it for podcasts. I mean, I don't know if that's iffy skiffy. I don't know. That's iffy skiffy. Yeah,
I've seen people do it for audiobooks.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't. No, because that's not what it's really set up for. It's anyway. All I can tell you, go over there, check it out for yourself, read the rules. It's an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know several authors and illustrators that have made good money off of it. So I know a couple that are making a living off of it. Go over there. Well, James, what's his name? James Kitlin. Sorry, Kitlin. So he's putting out a trilogy, and he's asking these people to support him while he's doing it. Put up, it was like $105,000 is what he asked for. He got it easy. And so everybody who's initially paid gets the book for free when it comes out. And then, of course, oh, was it half price, Dean? I thought it was free. Oh, it was. Okay, well, that's even better, half price. And so he's still making a little money off of it. And he's, when I talked to him last, he had made $381,000 off of it. And he's through book 1 and halfway through book 2. He's got them all outlined. He did all 3 in outline in all 3 books. Actually, he had put that up on Kickstarter, the outlines, except for the end. Yes. I guess it helped. I don't know. I'm not an author. What can I tell you? No, you can't put your clothes up for sale if you're famous. What the hell is wrong with you? That's what eBay is for. Okay. Or Amazon. You do it on Amazon too, but come on. No, he's married, got like 10 kids, so just leave him alone. Yeah, he's got 10 kids. Don't he look like a man with 10 kids?
1 kid.
He just forgot the 0, that's all. No, Jackie, I know how many kids you got. You got 7. You're insane. I don't know how you did 7 kids. Nope. What you got? Stephanie, where are you from, Stephanie? West Virginia. Hello, West Virginia. She wants to know what was what besides the gala, what was the most fun day there?
It was the art reveal. So they, like Joe was saying, they have all the artists in the room. They get the tables set up, and then they kind of open the doors and let us flow in, and we have to find our art. And for me, it was easy. Like I spotted Frank, that's the Taxman. I spotted him right away. And, some people, they see their art and they get all teary because it's like, you captured the soul of my, heartbreaking story. I started laughing.
Yeah, because it's a great
right away.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. Well, we talk about this all the time on the network, and I'm guilty of this myself. A lot of times people buy a book by the cover.
Mm-hmm.
People always say the old saying, don't judge a book by the cover, which is true, but a lot of people buy a book based on the cover. I have bought many books because of the cover, and sometimes I've been very happy, and sometimes I've been, oh my God, give me my money back. But you just don't know until you do it. Well, I'm reading through Mission Earth right now. I'm not reading, I'm listening to it, I'm sorry. And I think I'm in chapter 3. This thing is ungodly. It's 10 chapters. It's like 250,000. It's all kind of special effects. It's a great project, and one day it'll be a trilogy on TV or something. But going through it makes me realize what all these authors have to go through, because when you listen to the work that went into the book, the way they, this bell, the ding, whatever it may be in the story, they've actually taken from the story and put it into the audiobook, which is excellent. So when you see these authors out there writing, you know if it's a good book, it's going to become an audiobook. Today, audiobooks are selling not as much as regular books, but they're catching up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because of people like me, I drive a lot, which means take the phone. Let's see who I'm going to listen to today. To the car and go. Well, on this phone, it's Apple Play, but on my other one, it's Samsung. Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to do a book. Well, I have a good imagination regardless, and most of these books don't have pictures other than the cover picture. There is really no other picture, so you're just going by your own imagination. His book was easy to read because it was fun, and it was easy to imagine. This dude, screw it. I don't want to give it away. Yeah, if I say too much, it's going to give the story away, but just go get it and read it. The book is only, what is it, $19.99 or something? It's not.
I think last I saw on Amazon, the paperback version is $21 on Amazon. Okay. It's on sale right now.
So that's not bad, people. Go to Amazon. You can get it from galaxypress.com. Yeah, it's there. It's anywhere you can find.
You can get the ebook for a lot less than that.
Yeah, and you can get the ebook for less than that. You can get the audiobook too. Yeah, 39 is an audiobook. It's the first one I was going to say trilogies of the anthologies they put into an audiobook. So you can go listen to an audiobook too.
Yep, it's on Kindle right now for $10.
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, there you go. If you like reading off your pad, I'm never reading off a phone. Y'all can off with that. I'll read a pad, but I ain't reading a phone. Come on, if you look at this thing. I mean, do I really want to read this thing? It's better if I ain't got no eyes as it is. Oh, wait, there's somebody from Galaxy Press right there. I got to write her back. That is a friend of mine over there named Melita. She's a mad woman, people. She walks around with a shocker thingy, and if you don't line it with the picture right, she shocks your ass. Oh, yeah, man. You think I'm playing? She stand like this and say, and you don't. All of a sudden, you feel, don't make her mad. That's all I can say. No, I'm just teasing. No. Wait, who's this? No, we don't do favorite people because you might hurt somebody's feelings. Yeah. Well, everybody over there is my favorite people. I like everybody. Well, John's my favorite because John and I are personal friends, so it's a little bit different. And Emily's is just a great person all the way around. Even she's insane, but she's great. Mm-hmm. And everybody else, I mean, it doesn't matter who you talk about, Sarah, Clara, Chelsea, the whole bunch of them are good people. Hilda, Joni, I mean, you go on and on and on. I got to meet Jason, which is Sarah's husband, and his father this year, which was a very interesting character. I see where Jason gets his stuff from. Well, you get to, well, after going on 4 years with him, I've gotten a little personal with some of them. I mean, his friends. Don't get no ideas, people. And they're just a great group of people. You know, I knew that question was going to come up sometime tonight. It always does, but I'm gonna let David. I'm gonna answer it first since it was pointed at both of us, but I'll let him answer it too. So, all I can personally tell you is, with 4 years of winters with him, not one time, and all the people I've met that work for author services and Galaxy Press, not one time was I asked to attend any church services of any kind, nor was I even talked about by any type of religion whatsoever. I know y'all like to try to turn it into something when it's not. It is simply what it is. It is L. Ron Hubbard's way of paying forward all the money he made of all the great books he wrote. It's only that. It's nothing else. And the judges are exactly the same. It's their way of paying forward based on what they've done in their life careers. And it's these guys get to benefit from that. And one day, they'll be the ones paying for it. But no, again, Janine, It has nothing to do with the ST word. That's all I'm telling you. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, the contest is all about writing, and that's all. That's everything. It's about finding the next genre writers, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and promoting them and bringing them, giving them the tools in order to succeed as writers. There is no religion, no politics. In fact, when we show up, the first introduction we get, after the, hi, I'm John Goodwin. Hi, I'm Emily Goodwin. After all of that, John starts talking about, hey, here's what this week is about, and here's what this week is not about. And he makes it very plain. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about writing.
That's right.
And that's it. And so the whole contest, that's one of the things I love about it is apolitical. They truly don't care what your stance is on whatever. They just care, can you write a good story?
And you know, for sure they don't care. I do 2 political shows on this network, and I'm there because I don't talk politics. I'm there, but still, they just not into that kind of stuff. They really, it's just really about the winners. There's no other way of putting it.
Yep. The best way I can describe it is it's a pay it forward mentality that started with when Hubbard put the contest together back in the 80s. He was literally paying it forward by saying, here is my all the money in order to pay for this contest to go help new writers. And then all the people that work in the contest, they other than the few people at Galaxy Press, all the judges, and there's a ton of volunteers that do it as well. They're not paid. They are just there helping because they want to help the next generation of writers succeed. They want to make it a huge grand event, which the gala and the whole week was. I have never been to and will never be to anything like it again.
I know, it's great. It's great. What's that? Clean. I'm sorry. No. I'm there strictly as press. I'm actually, let me rephrase it. I'm there as friendly press. My job is just to help out so people understand what they're going to be dealing with. Well, John's great. John Green does a great interview. He's very professional interview, but John's not a podcaster, and he's not the kind of host you might run into in the real world. John's very polite and very nice and very well educated, and he would never say anything wrong or mean. He's not like me, in other words, because I'm liable to be a real ass. So, it's different for me because I'm in this for different reasons than he is. So, when I do an interview, first I want them to be fun, like you laughed many times tonight. I want interviews always to be fun, unless I consider you an enemy. Then I want you to cry a few times. No, I'm just kidding. People. For anybody writes to me, I was just kidding. Just calm down. I can see emails coming in already. But John he's a way nice interviewer. So I'm there. It's friendly press to show people how you can deal with someone, especially someone like me, because that's how a lot of the podcasts are going to be. A lot of interviews you're going to deal with. They're going to be dealing with someone somewhere along my mind frame. And, rule number 1, and I tell this to everybody, when a host says you read your book, you probably lie. Okay? A lot of hosts are going to cheat. They'll glance through it, or they'll find someone who's read it, or things like that. Or sometimes, I shouldn't tell you this, but there's a thing. So there's a place online, I can't tell you where, but there's a place online where you can get cliff notes for different books that have been written. There's a group that puts them together just for podcasts and radio show hosts. That's what they're there for, so that the host can cheat. The host doesn't look like an idiot when they're talking. So I don't do it that way. If I've read a book and only half-assed remembered, I'm going to tell the guest that, because there's no reason for me to lie about it, because it just gives them more time to talk about their book. So as you see with David, you know what I remember? I remember like 5 things about David's book, and all of them just made me laugh, and that's what stays in there. I could not, if you asked me the rest of the story, if I thought about it, I could probably tell you. But if you just wanted to tell me off the head, not so much. But certain things just gave me, and then seeing the artwork also gave me the belly giggle. When I like that, it makes me feel good. I bitch about sci-fi and fantasy all the time. There's not enough humor in it. So, Kimberly, what do you want to know? What's your favorite genre to write in? Wait. So it's a 2-question or 2-part question. So what's your favorite genre to write in, and what is just your favorite genre in general to live in? I guess they mean watch, view, read.
I would have to say fantasy. So I do enjoy science fiction, but I found that as I'm writing, I tend to slip over to fantasy all the time. So I have a couple of science fiction stories that they kept turning into science fantasy, where it's like, oh, and we're adding in magic now. No magic. Science.
Science magic. You can do that now. Remember?
Yeah, we can do a little bit of that, sure.
Yeah, we're in
So-
the 21st century. We can do science magic.
So yeah, I like writing and lighthearted stuff because there's not nearly enough humor in the world. There's a lot of dark and depressing, post-apocalyptic, just dark things out there, and that's not what I like to write. That's not what I like to read.
I know, I don't either. Games, the whole bunch of it. It's like there's a whole section of our planet just. I say this to people all the time too. I said, I know a lot of y'all have not seen Earth from space, and I've only seen it from an airplane at 60,000 feet. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's a great place to live. Stop wishing bad shit on it. It is really. It's when you see it from space, it's beautiful. Most of the people are really not evil people. It's funny when you get individuals, how intelligent an individual is and how dumb a pack of people are. It always amazes me. You get one person to sit down and tell them something science or something great, and they'll be like, yeah. You tell a group of it, and they want to go to war with each other. It's some weird mentality going on our planet right now. And sooner or later, it'll change. But we're the ones in control. We're the ones that let it go on. So get out there, people, change the world. I do it every day. That's why I do radio. I get into fights with everybody. I've called politicians names that I can't say on this show, and I don't have no qualm with them. And I got lucky because the first field I was in, I got to meet a lot of politicians. You'd be surprised how many politicians are interested in aliens. And because of that, I've been able to maintain friends with some colonels and some captains, a couple of generals, and admiral. And then John introduced me to two of the space command generals. So it's interesting the things you learn, and then you start meeting people when they get out of the military, get into politics, or get out of politics and get into something else. It's interesting how much they want to talk and how much they agree with what everybody's saying about how we're going to save the planet, but yet they fall right back into sync when they get back into it again. I don't know how you change that part. I don't know. What's that, Karina? You can't do that. It'd be illegal, baby. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You mean David needs to write a story about how to get rid of politicians? You see, that's dangerous because it could be really funny and really good, but the politicians might take a dim view of it and decide to bring his ass in front of Congress. It's a dangerous world. This is
my stories are more along the lines of dealing with the stupidities of bureaucracy.
Yes, and there's a lot of that.
And because I did 20 years in the Army, and I had a lot of experience with the stupidities of bureaucracy.
And there's a lot of it. Some things are people, unless you've been in those fields, it's just hard to understand how stupid some things can be. I remember I was on the USS Nimitz, and we were in fast change. We were in military maneuvers. And I had a motherboard go out on a plane. So we didn't replace the resistance, we replaced the whole board to make it faster. So I called down and ordered a board. This board's on board the ship with me, okay? It's 2 decks down. I had to sign 4 different pieces of paper. The guy I asked to go down and get it had to sign 5 pieces of paper. Then it had to go to another person who had to inspect the board, and then went to another person who actually added this piece and re-inspected the board, and then it sent it to my boy who actually had to sign off 2 more times before he got on the deck. And when he got on the deck, I had to sign off on the damn thing. 3 different pieces of paper. So we're talking about a board about this big, which we have probably 100, 150 of on board the ship. And it wasn't even a classified board. You ought to see what you got to go through when it's classified.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus. And it's I called it, I used to get in trouble because I used to call it tree killing. And I said, just because I was on the Nimitz.
And all the paper.
This is one tree killing fucking shit here, man. I remember my commander came down on my ass about it. Number one, he's like, Joe, stop saying that. I'm like, what? It's true. He said, yeah, it's true. Because, we got him and I got to talking one night when I got promoted. And we were talking about how much paper went through this ship. And it was ridiculous. This making law office look like it was standing still how much paper went through this place. Now, granted, today, it's all on computers. Well, some of it's still on paper, but most of it's on computers. And it's still the same amount of crap you got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is now I can push the button and sign.
Yep.
What's that, Janine? No, he just said he preferred fantasy over. Well, he didn't say not necessarily over, but he preferred to write fantasy than sci-fi.
That's what I prefer to write. But when it comes to reading, I've read widely of fantasy and science fiction. Two of my favorite series as I was growing up were David Weber's Honor Harrington series and Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. So, both epic sci-fi and epic fantasy. And that's, I just read every time a new one came out, I was the first one there at the bookstore to get it.
So I was getting ready to say that because I'd seen a question in the room and I was thinking, well, there's sci-fi fantasies, guys. I mean, you can do both. Yeah, you can control both. Oh, you're thinking about Lorene. No, Lorene was the Star Trek freak. Well, she wasn't a freak, but she was as well acknowledged in Star Trek as I was. No, I'm not like that kind of geek. No. I know a lot about Star Trek, but I'm not that kind of geek. Well, no, so she got honorable mention based on a story she sent in on a Star Trek thing she was going to write. That's what she got honorable mention for, and then she won the year later on a different story. Yeah, that's who you're talking about. Yeah, you got confused. That's all. I did have the new Captain Kirk on the network. 2 of the new Captain Kirks, actually. No, I did not have Chris, whoever he is, but no. So there's two series of Star Treks on YouTube, both legit, both allowed to be done by Star Trek. And the guy who plays Captain, so the one that I'm talking about takes place, he's still Kirk, but this is from the last episode of Star Trek forward. Yeah, so it's in between him and Picard, basically. Well, no, there was somebody else before them, but still. And I'm confused as you are when it comes to Captain Pike. Yes, I agree. So it's on though, so go watch it. It's a lot of fun to watch. What do you mean? So somebody wants to know, what was your favorite fantasy story growing up? That could be tough.
Probably Shannara, the Shannara series by Terry Brooks.
Ooh, I don't think I know that one. Wait, you're gonna tell me about this? I don't think I know this. Say it, because maybe I've just got the name in my head wrong.
The Sword of Shannara was the first one, and the series is about it's a second world fantasy of going on quest in order to get the thing that you need to defeat the Dark Wizard. But yeah, Terry Brooks,
I'll have to check it
I
out.
have
Yeah.
no idea how many books he's written, but it's a lot.
Well, I'll have to
And
check it
he's
out.
still writing more in the series. He actually has written enough to connect his sci-fi series to his fantasy series.
That's cool.
And it's just a matter of the time in between. I was like, whoa, I didn't see that connection coming.
And I just kind of rolled around till I got there, huh?
Yep.
Jack, I don't know how many books Wesley Dean Smith has written. All I can tell you is it's a lot. I don't know, man. It's more than 10. How's that?
Well, I know that I think it was last year, Dean Wesley Smith had a challenge to publish 70 books in his 70th year, and he did it.
Jesus.
Now, granted, a couple of those were anthologies that he edited and put together, but yeah, he published 70 books last year.
I gotta tell you, guy writes like some people just write like that. I don't know how they do it. His brain goes in the right mood. That's how Elron did it.
And he's been doing it for decades.
Oh, you mean Battlefield Earth? I think it was 100,000 words. Usually 100,000 or 150,000 words. No, Mission Earth, I think is 200. Yeah, it's bigger. Well, so I thought that 100,000 words would be a lot to do. So I started writing. I was in LA the second time I was there. And I've been absorbing all this crap. So the first year I spent more time with the illustrators. Second year I spent more time with the authors. And I guess I'd been absorbing all this. And I woke up right around 2:30 in the morning and sat down and piped out 11,500 words. Even I was astonished. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So, and over the next 3 nights, before I left LA, I had put down 14,000 words. So everyone's like, you need to submit. I said, no, it's about an 11-day story that happened in Gulf Breeze. It's like day 1 and 2. I said, this thing's going to be huge. Right now, it's sitting at 26,800 words. And it's on like day 5 now. So there's still 6 more days to go. So yeah, it looks like it's going to easily break 100,000. But that's y'all's fault, by the way, because I actually learned what the hell filler is. I use it. Filler is a bad word for me, people. I don't use the term correctly, but I'm basically talking about when I get out the car, I walk over to things, sunshine, the birds are tweeting, the water's crashing.
Your scene setting, your stage.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
All
See,
that.
yeah. So that's what I never knew how to do that before. So I know I actually learned something with it. I learned a lot about art, but I can still only draw a stick man. I'm not gonna lie. I can shadow draw a stick man now, but I can still. That was Tom Woodall. Well, yeah, Tom's talent. Got talent. That's his cover. The cover he showed you, it's Tom Wood's cover. Yeah, he did a dragon this year. Yes, we're going to have a dragon contest. You heard about that, huh? So I haven't invited Tom yet because I haven't talked to him. But right now it's April and Larry Elmore are coming on. We're going to either bring 2 more or 4 more. We might have 3 teams. We might bring 3 professionals in and 3 rookies in and see what happens. See who wins. Yeah. No, it's just for prestige. It ain't for nothing else. But, we'll see who wins. Maybe we'll do a 2-hour draw dragon while we're live. Boy, that'll make more stress right there. I'm freaking Larry can draw a dragon in his sleep. I'm pretty sure April could too. It's going to be hard to find people who draw dragons like these two. I mean, it's Tom could keep up with him, but it's going to be hard to find other people. I mean, I think most of the night we talked about was dragons. They got a lot of dragons.
Well, if you want another person that draws dragons, James Artemis Owen.
They see. I'll have to check into them because I'm serious. I want to do it in a way. We'll do it. Maybe we'll do it as a series or something, but something that drags people out, get some really pretty dragon artwork out there. People can see it, put it up for sale and stuff. Carolyn, yes, we are on Roku. You can see us on television right now. Oh, that's why you wanted to know. Or you want to go see what's all behind David? I should have never put us on Roku. I forgot when I put us on Roku TV that Roku has a zoom in built into it. You can scan left and right and zoom. So first day I had it on, somebody starts reading the titles of those books. I can't even see the titles of the books from here. They're reading them to me, and then they're telling me, "You got a bottle of Crown Royal in there." I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then in the skull, there's an alien skull instead of books. In the skull, there's a little bitty BB, like an eyeball. They see the damn. You can't see it without it. Sure hell can. I'm like, okay, no more zooming in allowed, people. Somebody's got, you get gray in your beard. I said, my beard is gray. What are you talking about? Yes. I don't know, Gene. You'll have to figure it out on your own. He's married with 10 kids. I told you that. You don't want to raise 10 kids. What would you do with 10 kids? Yeah, she'd commit suicide is what you'd do with 10 kids. Yes, I probably would go with you. No, he's got 1. He seems like a very nice guy. Seems very organized. Got his life together. I don't know. What do you mean he could be an axe murderer? No, he'd be in prison if he's axe murdered by now. Come on. Oh, you said, oh, okay. I missed what you said. So when earlier you were talking about being an inspector, she's right. You should write a story about going from base to base as an axe murderer.
Oh, see, if I wrote horror, that would be great. That's not what I write.
I don't. Besides, they might take a dim view of that, man. They might go, "Oh, so you think you're an axe murderer here, David?" Right? We don't want to jeopardize his job, people. No, I mean, yes, it could be a story. I'm not arguing with you. I mean, that would be a serial killer, I guess. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't like none of that shit. I'm not a big bloods and gore guy, even though I hunted when I was young. Maybe that's why I'm not. I've seen it up close and personal, so maybe I just don't. Yeah, we killed our own animals, cleaned them, so it's different for me. No, I don't do anything anymore. I go to the store and buy meat like everybody else. It's a different world. Blood guts. We got to go in a minute. So what do y'all want? Quick. Who's got the next question? That's dumb. What is that? Mikey, you're just a goofball. Oh, okay. Yeah, why didn't I forgot to ask him where he was from because I already knew, but they want to know where you're from.
Oh, so I am in Iowa, although I was raised in Montana and went into the Army for 20 years and went all over the place. So
okay. Now I know why you went in the Army.
I spent half of my career in Germany. But yeah, now I'm in Iowa in the thriving cornfields. We occasionally get tornadoes, and and we have cicadas. That's Iowa.
That sounds about right. Well, people, I've been to Montana and Wyoming. I don't want to go back. No, wait. Before anybody gets mad, they're both beautiful states with lots of beauty in them. But I drove across Wyoming, and all I seen for like 8 hours was antelope.
Yep.
Antelope and snow catcher things. That was it. Montana was pretty much the same way. I was like, nah, that's okay for me. I live in the country. No, I don't want to live in the city. But I was raised in the bayou, which is it's a little bit different than being raised in the country.
It's a bit different than the mountains.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Well, okay, people. So if you're in the country, the bayou, and the mountains, there's a similarity in mindset, but really that's about as far as it goes. Because the way we look at our families and the way we look at our foods and stuff like that are different. But the way in general, like we look at our country and protecting our family is the same. It's, we're a little bit more hardcore and don't screw with our family kind of stuff. What do you mean? I got my marksman's, my sharpshooters, and my sniper's badge when I was in the service. And it wasn't even hard. All that hunting I did from age 10 up. Yeah, it wasn't. Matter of fact, most of the Bayou boys all got their badges. So a lot of the country boys did too. Yeah, it's not as big of an accomplishment as you think it is. One more question. Come on, who's got it? Well, he was talking about writing a novel. That's what he was just talking about a few minutes ago. Well, he can't tell you what's in it. No, when it's published and he sends me a copy, then we'll invite him on and he can kind of tell you what's in it.
Tell you what, if you want to find out what's in the novel, pick up a copy of Writers of the Future, read the short story. This novel is the rest of that story.
There you go. You're going to enjoy the story. You're going to enjoy all the stories. I don't know why I never picked the winners right. Nope. I would have never got who won the big one this year or the artwork right this year or any of these years. I don't know. I liked a lot of artwork this year. I'm not going to lie, but I didn't think the one I thought was going to win didn't win. I also liked the little girl from Korea's, the one she did of the city. There was something about that city made me feel like I was in it. So I kind of liked it too. But again, if I pick your artwork, you should start crying right there. That's just you're probably not going to win. That's why I don't ever tell anybody. No, I liked a lot of stories. I mean, I don't know. Well, it's like David's story. I mean, it's still one of the stories I hear talked about the most out of the book. But it's up to the judges to judge. The judges judge, and whatever the judges judge on. Yes, that's how they do it. And you're talking about Ted McCaffrey and Dean Lee West Smith. They argued. This was the first year I was there. They argued the entire time. Yes. But Todd had all this stuff and fancy dancy stuff around him and banners and stuff. And Leslie's like, what the hell are you doing? And then Dean made him move it to the other side of the room where it was just hilariously funny. Well, no, they're friends, but it was hilariously funny to watch them. And they both have completely different styles. Todd McCaffrey is Anne McCaffrey's son, if you don't know who he is. And if you don't know who Anne McCaffrey is, all I can tell you is go look her up. That's all I can tell you. She's wrote a few books in her time. Yes, quite a few actually, but you can see. And he mentioned Bain Publishing. I met the lady who runs Bain Publishing a couple of years ago. She's a really nice woman, and I think I've seen her again this year, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her. Well, there's a lot of self-publishers out there if that's what the route you want. I mean, you can go to Amazon for $300 and self-publish if that's what you're looking to do. I would want to go, and you might ask David more about this than me, but I mean, he's talking about Kickstarter, and if you're going with somebody else, I'd want to go with somebody more who fits in the genre that you're writing in. In other words, going to one of the bigger companies might not be the best fit for you, at least to get your book out there. I could be wrong. Look, I don't know. I'm not a writer, so don't take my words. What do you think, David? I mean, I know you don't.
It's a matter of how you want to manage your work. So if you are looking for something where someone else has an established pipeline for art, for editing, for all of that stuff, then yeah, you want to look at that traditional. Maybe look at a small publisher that specializes in your genre. But if you want to have full control of everything, like Dean Wesley Smith, he does it all.
He does it all.
Yeah, he does it all. He's got some people that work for him, but they do all of it. The writing, the editing, the artwork, all of it, and self-publishes it. And it's just a matter of you have different ways of doing it. So depending on what it is that you want, if you want more control, go with indie or self-publishing. If you want someone else that has those established systems, go for traditional. The difficulty is traditional is hard to break into because you have that narrowing pyramid of, different groups looking at the work and only picking out a small segment every time.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, an editor might get in a stack, and then the stack this big that actually gets gotten through.
But on the flip side, even though anyone can publish on Amazon, then the free market takes over. And if you publish it, even if you advertise it really well, if it's only a so-so book, it's not going to sell that well. I mean, I might sell a few copies, but a lot of indie publishing marketing is from people saying, wow, this was a great book, and telling their friends. And that is how you know that your book is actually starting to go somewhere, is when people are talking about it without being prompted. So there's a million books on Amazon right now, and it's a matter of writing with enough quality to be able to rise to the top of that. And that's one of the things I love about Writers in the Future, is they help train writers in order to write at that level of quality.
They do. I call it a cheat, but it's a way of getting in there. It's a way of getting your name out there. It's a way when you walk into an office looking for a job and say, hey, I do writer. And they're going to say, well, what do you got? And I say, well, I just won. And they'll be like, oh, well, wait, because, a lot of these companies respect Writers in the Future because they don't play around. Anybody who's been associated with this group, other than listening to them on TV, actually knows who and what they are. So they have a lot of credibility. And it's not just that. You'll notice a lot of people show up at their galas, different stars and stuff, military people. There'll be people who come in and go, and these are people who are interested in this, and then you never know who's in that audience that might be wanting to buy a book. That's the other thing. You just don't know who's out there. Only John Emily knows who the whole entire guest list. I don't want to ask Christopher. No, I don't want to know. It's no, I don't want to know. There might be somebody that I want to bug, so I don't ask. Well, I'm pretty busy enough, so I ask a lot of questions and I pester. But when they do the book signing, so after the gala, they do a book signing out in the lobby. Usually, I spend that time getting to know their parents, getting a lowdown on what were they like when they were children and stuff. Most of them don't even know that I do it. That's the best part. It's fun. Well, I can't remember her name. She's real nice, and I had the lady I was talking about her artwork. I met her sister outside, and her and I had a good hour talk. Very bright young woman, very intelligent woman, well on her way to being something. Her parents were very, very nice. I talked to the mother and the father, and I talked to several other parents while I was sitting out there. But even before that, when they're serving hors d'oeuvres before the function, I spend a lot of time out there talking. Because I've got lots of pictures of y'all. I've been taking pictures of y'all all week long. And I get a few in front of whatever the artwork is going to be, like the dragon this year. And I'll get some while y'all being harassed by the other media. But honestly, a lot of times when I'm taking pictures of y'all, I'm taking pictures of the media. I like to make sure they're going to behave themselves. They know they're being photographed too. Like they were, like the ones that lay on the side, the things they know I'm taking pictures of. And the guy asked me, well, so I just want to know who y'all are. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to run you through a facial recognition, find out who you are. Or I asked somebody here that knows. He said, you're kidding me. I said, no, I like to know who the press is. And he said, well, what kind of guest are you? I said, I'm media. He's like, oh, never mind. I understand. But, media for Writers of the Future media. So I like to make sure everybody's on up. But everybody's pretty well handled. There was a lot of Asian media this year, and everybody was very polite, very well handled. Because, Gene, we had 2 Asian winners this year. Yes. And they both won. They had a lot of press came out to meet these 2 young ladies. I was impressed myself. It was just a lot of good people all the way around. It was a lot of fun. And I can't remember her name. Kim, the lady I met, her Their network does 500 million citizens worldwide. Yes, that's. I mean, we brag at 30 million. 500 million is ridiculous. You know how much money you're making on $5 million? Yes, it's 500 million listeners. You can't even imagine how much money that is. Okay, we got to go, guys. I'll let y'all run way to hell over. I'm surprised Michelle hasn't written me a letter and said, Joe, get off my airtime. Well, we don't run competition with her, so yes. And StreamYard can run side by side. Yes, it's one of those systems that allows you to do that. So we don't interfere with each other's shows in case something goes over or something gets broke. Dave, any place they can find you? Gonna do any book signings anytime soon, or you just chilling out?
Well, I got a couple things coming up. I will be in Davenport, Iowa, this Saturday at a little bookstore called The Brood Book on Harrison Avenue, or Harrison Street. Sorry. So yeah, The Brood Book in Davenport, Iowa, on Saturday from 12 to 2. But other than that, people can find me at my website, davidhankins.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Type in David Hankins author in the search bar, and you'll find me.
There you go, David Hankins author, on davidhankins.com. Find him easy. Oh no, I wouldn't do that today. I like David. Not like everybody, but I was picking on one of the guests a couple weeks back, and I kept telling about rubbing him on the head when they come out to sign. He wanted to kill my ass. It's like, Joe, stop it, because somebody's going to come up and rub me on the head. I'll be like, it's good luck, man. It's good luck to rub an author on the head.
And some people were asking about other stories. If they go to my website, I have a tab for short stories. About half of my stories that have been published so far are free to read on the internet. So you can get a taste of my style.
There you go.
Click on those, click through. Some of them are in anthology. Some of them are on websites for whatever online magazine bought it, like Dreamforge magazine or Factor 4 magazine. And yeah, I write lighthearted stuff. If you want to smile and laugh, go check it out.
There you go, guys. It's always fun. I always like having fun when I'm doing any kind of reading, listening, TV. Yes. No, we don't have time. Well, next time he comes by, we'll ask him all of that. You sound like you're asking questions. You're looking for a perspective, mate. What's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? No, that's what it sounds like to me. No, okay, I'll leave you alone about it. But y'all stop hunting for mates with my guests. It's bad people. Oh, I know a lot of y'all been getting. You know what's funny about this group? So we started out on Yahoo way back 25 years ago. We used to have just a chat group over there. Then, as we were growing, we moved to Pal Talk because you had control over the room, and they all followed. They moaned and bitched and griped because it was blue, and they didn't want to go because it was blue. And they finally got all over, and I got them all over there, a bunch of them. And then we started using Messenger a lot. They're like, "You make us move again." I said, "You don't have to move." Then, so now trying to get them to come from Messenger to here is just another pain in the ass. Oh, people don't like to listen. But guys, we got to go. And thank you everyone for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with David and I hope y'all enjoy it. Check him out on his website. Check his work out. Well, I'm sure you can drop him an email. I don't think you'll mind. Just don't get stupid or anything. It's like how I am. Don't get crazy. On that note, guys and girls, we got to go. To everybody in chat, thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody who stopped by on YouTube and Pal Talk, and the rest of them, thanks for hanging out with us. Dave, thanks for hanging out with us. And
thanks for having me. It's been fun.
This Friday is John Goodwin will be on with me. I forgot who Carmen said was going to be on with us, but y'all come by and check us out. We'll be talking about the People's Choice Podcast Awards, and we'll have another guest from Writers of the Future. Well, we're going through all of the guests, all 24 of the guests. So we're just slowly going through, and Carmen's out there doing them. And we want y'all to see them, more than 15 minutes. How's that? Yes, there you go. Dave, again, thanks, guys and girls. Thanks. I will see everybody this Friday night. Have some fun. I'll see y'all at 9 o'clock. I'll probably be in rare form, cutting them up and just misbehaving all together. What do you mean you like me in a T-shirt? See, now I'm never wear a T-shirt again. Good night, everybody.